Chosen one, if you're hearing these words, it's not by chance. You didn't stumble across this message. Heaven orchestrated it. The timing, the moment, even the stirring in your spirit, it's all divine alignment, and that alone should stop you in your tracks. There is something sacred happening within you, something not everyone around you can see, but you feel it. A shift, a gentle but persistent call. You felt disconnected from things you once chased. Your heart is being reoriented towards something higher, something eternal. This is not confusion, it's confirmation. The world may label it as change, but what's really happening is transformation, a holy recalibration. The truth is, you were never meant to blend in. You were marked by God long before you understood the weight of that calling, and now, in this very moment, you're being invited into alignment with that purpose. For many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. You are not just called, you are chosen, and chosen ones are set apart for sacred work. Listen carefully. What you're about to receive is not ordinary. It's meant to reach deep into your body, your spirit, your assignment. This message carries healing, it carries instruction, it carries a divine activation. But it must be received in full. Don't look away, don't scroll past, because what's coming next is for your preparation, not your panic, for your peace, not your fear. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Let your heart quiet enough to receive what's being poured into it right now. And now, as you step forward into this divine role, I invite you to declare your readiness. Type Amen in the comments below as a sign of your acceptance, as a bold statement that you are ready to walk in your God-given purpose. And make sure you stay with me until the very end, because we'll be closing with a powerful prayer that speaks directly to where you are right now. Let this be the moment everything shifts. Chosen one, hear this carefully. A transformation is taking place within you, not just in your spirit, but in your body. This shift may feel strange, unfamiliar, even uncomfortable at times, but it is not a sign that something is wrong. It is evidence that something holy is happening. Too often, spiritual growth is spoken of as if it lives only in belief or prayer. But divine elevation doesn't happen in the soul alone. When God prepares someone for sacred work, the entire being is involved. Your body is not a separate, passive passenger. It is part of the calling. It is the vessel carrying heaven's instruction, and like any sacred vessel, it must be refined before it can carry new glory. Remember how Moses spent 40 days on the mountain, not just to receive revelation, but to be physically altered by God's presence. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai, his face was radiant because he had spoken with the Lord. Exodus 34:29. The body reflected what the spirit had encountered, and so it is with you. The elevation of your spirit demands an equal refinement of your body. You may have noticed changes in your energy, your sleep, your appetite, your tolerance for noise, or the way your body reacts to certain people and places. You're not becoming fragile, you're becoming finely tuned. Your nervous system is being trained for spiritual precision. God is shaping a vessel that can carry power without tension, presence without burnout, discernment without emotional overload. You might feel tired not because you're weak, but because your body is releasing what it no longer needs. Old fears, stored pressure, survival habits, emotional weight from battles you've already overcome. These responses are not useful where you're going. They must be laid down so you can move forward freely. This is not loss, it is liberation. When Elijah fled to the wilderness, exhausted and overwhelmed, God did not scold him. Instead, the angel of the Lord touched him and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." 1 Kings 19:7. Even the most powerful prophet needed rest, restoration, and preparation before his next assignment. So do you. If solitude is calling you, if routines are breaking down without conflict, if people are drifting away quietly, it is not rejection, it is redirection. It is God removing what no longer aligns, not through drama, but through divine distance. You are being recalibrated. You are being prepared to carry more light, more clarity, more responsibility. And with that preparation comes protection. Your body is becoming a filter, rejecting what disrupts peace and drawing you toward what strengthens it. This isn't superiority, it's sensitivity. It's the sharpening of awareness. The chosen cannot afford to be spiritually dull. You are being trained to sense misalignment before it becomes damage, to walk into the unknown without dragging the weight of the past. So, if you're feeling unfamiliar in your own skin, trust the process. You are not breaking, you are being rebuilt. Every ache, every release, every sudden moment of silence or separation is not random. It is sacred. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. What is being born in you is not temporary. It is preparation for purpose. You are being entrusted with something that requires all of you, body, mind, and spirit, to operate in unity, in surrender, and in strength. Chosen one, when heaven begins a new work within you, it rarely starts with a loud announcement. More often, it begins in silence, with a whisper in the spirit and a shift in the body that words cannot always explain. Before your life visibly changes, your internal world starts to rearrange. The body, designed by the Creator as a vessel of divine expression, becomes the first to sense what's coming. Long before the full transformation is seen, subtle signs begin to surface. These are not random or meaningless. They are sacred signals that the divine process has already begun. You may have felt an unshakable tiredness even after deep rest, or found yourself awake in the still hours of the night, heart alert while the world sleeps. These are not disruptions. They are recalibrations. God is aligning your rhythm to His, not to the world's. Just as Samuel was called in the night and had to learn to recognize the voice of the Lord, 1 Samuel 3, your body is being trained to respond to God in moments of stillness, where clarity is clearest and noise cannot compete. Another sign, sensitivity rising like the tide. Crowds feel heavier, loud voices drain you. Even familiar places may now feel unfamiliar. This isn't fragility. It's spiritual sensitivity manifesting in physical awareness. Your vessel is no longer built for chaos, it's being tuned for peace. And peace in the kingdom is not weakness, it is power under control. Some of you have wept without knowing why. The tears came uninvited, unprovoked by any story you could name. But the soul remembers what the mind forgets. Emotional waves surface when God is making space for new wisdom. He heals the broken-hearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. Sometimes that healing looks like release before it looks like peace. Your relationships may have changed too, some without conflict, some without closure. Certain conversations feel empty now. Certain routines feel too small. You haven't grown cold, you've grown aligned. The chosen one is being led by discernment, not preference. This alignment sharpens your ability to sense truth and deception, not through logic, but through presence. A room doesn't feel the same. A conversation feels off. You shift in your chair without knowing why. The body knows. Even appetite changes. Foods you once enjoyed now feel heavy. You crave simplicity without trying. This isn't about control, it's about clarity. The body begins to crave what fuels the spirit, not what numbs it. God often speaks through silence, but He also speaks through sensation. And then comes the desire for solitude, not isolation, but stillness. You may no longer need to explain your process to others. Words feel unnecessary. You seek quiet, not because you're retreating from life, but because something sacred is settling within. Jesus himself often withdrew to solitary places to pray, Luke 5:16, not because he was avoiding people, but because communion with the Father required focus. And when the alignment becomes deep enough, something incredible happens. Old habits fall away, not through struggle, but through surrender. What once tempted you no longer stirs you. What once distracted you loses its grip. The appetite is gone. This is the mark of divine refinement. God doesn't always remove the obstacle. Sometimes he removes your desire for it. In this state, time feels different. You may find yourself more grounded in the present, less driven by fear of the future, less held by memory of the past. You start to move slower, but more surely. You respond instead of react. You notice beauty in ordinary moments. This is spiritual maturity made visible in the body. You may also feel a quiet detachment from who you once were. The labels, the roles, the assumptions, they no longer feel like yours. This is not confusion, it's identity catching up with truth. You can't carry your next assignment in your old skin. As 2 Corinthians 5:17 reminds us, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here. And perhaps the most profound sign of all, you care deeply, but no longer cling tightly. You trust more, but strive less. You still dream, but no longer chase. This is the soul learning to live in divine flow, held by God's hand, not driven by fear. Your body reflects it too. Shoulders relax, breathing deepens. Peace enters where tension once lived. So, if you felt these things physically, emotionally, spiritually, know this. You're not breaking down. You're breaking through. The shift has already begun. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The work is already underway, and you are not behind. The signs are not tests, they are confirmations. What you are becoming is not the result of pressure, it is the result of presence, and what is unfolding in you now is holy. Chosen one, what unfolds in the next 24 hours will not announce itself with thunder. There will be no loud signs, no sudden flashes to mark it. But make no mistake, this moment in time is sacred. A divine shift is already in motion, subtle to the world, but unmistakable to your spirit. This is not a season for excitement or fear. It is a time for maturity, for stillness, for trust. Heaven operates with precision, and when the Most High opens a window of transformation, it comes not with commotion, but with quiet authority. In the next 24 hours, the alignment between your body and your spirit will begin to settle into place, not in theory, but in felt reality. Where once there was tension, there will be a quiet agreement. Where once the body lagged behind the spirit, now it will catch up. This is how God works. First within, then without. You may have felt pulled in opposite directions, one part of you ready to obey, another still holding on to the weight of the old. But something is shifting. Internal friction begins to dissolve. The storm inside loses power. What once felt urgent no longer does. Not because the world changed, but because you did. The peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. That peace doesn't come after everything makes sense. It comes first. Then everything else follows. In this divine window, your body will respond in ways that don't always make sense to your mind. Breathing deepens without trying. Muscles soften. You walk slower, but somehow more surely. This is not lethargy. It is grounding, authority settling into the vessel. For some, this shift will come as a release, Something the body has carried for years will let go without needing explanation. It may feel like lightness. It may feel like tears that arrive and leave gently. You're not falling apart. You're being unburdened. Others may feel a different kind of shift clarity. What once required long hours of questioning suddenly becomes simple. Not because life got easier, but because your heart stopped negotiating with truth. When body and spirit agree, decisions become quiet and clean. You don't push, you just know. This is divine order, embodied. And then comes stillness, not silence as in emptiness, but as in readiness. The internal noise quiets. You no longer feel the need to explain, prove, or analyze. Even in the middle of a busy world, something within you rests. In returning and rest, you shall be saved. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30-15. You may feel drawn to stillness more than usual, not sleep, but solitude. Not isolation, but integration. Your body is anchoring the shift. Just as soil must settle before seeds can grow, your body must pause to hold what is being planted. For others, this same shift may look like movement, an urge to finish something left undone, to clean, organize, close a loop. The energy isn't frantic, it's focused. It is alignment expressing itself as momentum. And when the vessel is ready, action no longer requires willpower, it flows. There may also be emotional changes, triggers that once hijacked your peace begin to lose their grip. You still feel, but you no longer spiral. You remain aware, but not consumed. This is maturity. This is regulation. This is spiritual authority showing up through emotional stillness. You may feel sudden insight rise up, not from analysis, but from peace. You simply see something more clearly, not through study, but through surrender. The unfolding of your words gives light. It gives understanding to the simple. Psalm 119-130. When the body is at peace, wisdom doesn't need to be forced, it arrives. You may also feel less available for noise, less patient with shallow conversation, less drawn to unnecessary engagement, not because you're disconnected, but because you are focused. The chosen one does not squander energy. Alignment refines attention. During this window, you might notice physical sensations, a gentle warmth in the chest, a light pressure near the heart, a grounded awareness in your feet. These are not symptoms to fear. They are signs that your nervous system is attuning to the assignment. Your body is learning how to carry what your spirit already knows. And understand this, not every sign will be dramatic. Not every shift will be felt as a wave. Some will be whispers. Some will be soft nudges. Some will feel like nothing at all. That does not make them any less real. In the kingdom, quiet changes often carry the greatest weight. Do not compare your shift to anyone else's. Some will feel this in the body, others in emotion, others in thought. None are more spiritual than the other. The potter knows each vessel. He knows your history. He knows your pace. He prepares each of us according to what we're called to carry. Let the process unfold without pressure. You don't need to name every sensation. You don't need to label each feeling. Trust that the transformation underway is guided by divine intelligence. Obedience in this moment is not about doing. It is about receiving. Trust is the posture. Awareness is enough. And, above all, remember this. Internal shifts often complete before external change begins. Just because the world looks the same tomorrow does not mean you are. God fortifies from the inside out. He strengthens the roots before revealing the fruit. Do not seek confirmation from the outside world. The confirmation is already within. When the next season begins to unfold, you will not need to prove your growth. You will feel it, and others will feel it in your presence. You won't react the way you used to. You won't shrink where you once did. You will move more gently, more clearly, more powerfully. The next 24 hours are not about waiting. They are about settling, about anchoring, about recognizing that something which began quietly is now taking root. Remain present, remain grounded. Allow the alignment to complete itself without force. You are not behind, you are not confused, you are being made ready. And when this sacred window closes, you will not need signs. You will be the evidence. Chosen one, listen with stillness in your spirit, because this part of your journey demands a deeper kind of strength, the strength to walk misunderstood. One of the final layers in divine transformation is not a shift within, but a response from without. When your spirit grows quiet, your presence changes. When your body starts responding to the Holy Spirit instead of human patterns, people around you will not always understand what is happening, and that misunderstanding is not a failure, it is part of the process. This is not because others are cruel or opposed to your growth. Most often, they simply are not positioned to perceive it. The internal work God is doing in you, aligning your body, healing your patterns, awakening your discernment, doesn't announce itself to the outside world. Spiritual movement is subtle. It flows beneath the surface, unseen by eyes that are not looking for it. The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolishness. 1 Corinthians 2:14. Transformation confuses those who are not in the same conversation with heaven, and God allows that. Not to isolate you, but to protect what is being formed in silence. People may notice that you're not reacting the way you used to, that your emotions aren't on display, that your energy is no longer scattered in 100 directions. To those who are accustomed to your old rhythm, this new steadiness may feel distant, even cold. They might call it a change. And they're right, you have changed. But not out of pride or withdrawal. You've changed out of obedience. It is natural for others to expect consistency. They want you to show up the same way you always have, not because they mean harm, but because your growth unsettles what they haven't yet faced in themselves. When your peace starts confronting their chaos, they may react. When your restraint stops feeding their drama, they may misread you. But this isn't your weight to carry. This phase of your becoming may make others uncomfortable, not because you're doing wrong, but because your evolution shines a light on their stillness. When the prophet Elisha followed Elijah and refused to turn back despite being misunderstood, even mocked, he stayed faithful to the journey. His double portion came after the distance, after the misunderstanding, after the silence. 2 Kings 2. So it is with you. You are being prepared, not displayed. That means not everyone gets access to the in-between. You might find yourself disengaged from conversations that once felt familiar, discussions rooted in fear, complaint, or distraction. Your nervous system no longer registers those as normal. You no longer feed what drains you. And that silence, that refusal to entertain what once consumed your energy, may be misinterpreted. People may say you've pulled away, that you seem different, but what they don't see is that your spirit is moving towards stillness, not away from them. Your nervous system is being retrained, not for survival, but for stewardship. God is teaching you to manage peace, not emotion. And yes, some will try to pull you back, to provoke a reaction, to make you prove that you haven't changed too much. Not because they're malicious, but because they don't yet know how to relate to the version of you that's aligned, grounded, and no longer reactive. This is why God often creates distance in seasons of transformation, not to sever love, but to preserve clarity. The chosen one outgrows environments before others notice. You may still be physically present, but spiritually, you've moved on. And when your posture shifts without explanation, others can only guess at the reason. They project, they interpret. They assign meaning through the lens of their own fears. Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." John 13:7. Spiritual maturity doesn't always come with public understanding, and it shouldn't have to. If everyone affirmed your process, you'd never learn to move without approval. If everyone understood your silence, you'd never learn the language of trust. God does not ask his chosen to justify obedience. He asks them to carry it. Some will misunderstand your boundaries as rejection, your stillness as apathy, your clarity as arrogance. But your role is not to explain alignment to those who are not being aligned. Your role is to remain faithful to the instruction, even when it makes you invisible. You were never called to be seen by everyone. You were called to be used by God. And yes, it may feel lonely. Deep alignment always does, because in this space, only those who are attuned to the same frequency will understand. And until that connection comes, there is silence. But that silence is sacred. It is where your inner roots deepen. It is where you learn that peace is not found in being understood, but in being anchored. Not everyone is meant to witness your transformation. Some were only assigned to your former season. When that season ends, access ends with it. That is not cruelty, it is order. So, if others do not see the work God is doing in you, do not explain. Let your life speak when the time is right. Let your peace do the talking. Let your stillness carry the weight of what words cannot. And when misunderstanding shows up, do not shrink to make others comfortable. Do not water down your growth. You were not reshaped to be more relatable. You were reshaped to be more ready. Your transformation may not come with applause. It may not be recognized by the world, but it is not for recognition. It is for readiness. You are being aligned to carry something greater, something sacred, something eternal. And that does not require explanation, only obedience. Chosen one, the way you respond in this sacred season matters more than you may realize. This is where wisdom becomes movement, and movement becomes alignment. As your body shifts, your spirit stretches, and your awareness deepens, the invitation is not to take control, but to release it. One of the greatest mistakes in a transformative season is attempting to force clarity, to demand timelines, or to shape the process according to your own comfort. But this moment was never meant to be managed. It was meant to be trusted. When the potter reshapes the clay, the vessel does not instruct the hand that forms it. Woe to those who quarrel with their maker. Does the clay say to the potter, "What are you making?" Isaiah 45:9. Your role now is not to understand everything, but to remain soft in the hand that molds you. The first and most powerful response in this time is stillness, not the stillness that comes from emotional exhaustion, but the kind that flows from reverence. When the inner world is in motion, the outer world must quiet. God speaks clearest to the heart that is not competing with noise. Stillness creates space, not just physical space, but space in the soul. It allows the nervous system to rest, for the body to release what it no longer needs, and for spiritual alignment to take root without resistance. This is why you may feel pulled away from constant conversation, from crowds, from overstimulation. Honor that pull. It is not detachment, it is design. Equally vital in this moment is rest without guilt, without apology. In the world system, rest looks like weakness. In heaven's pattern, rest is wisdom. It is where integration happens. The body cannot absorb change if it is constantly in motion. You are not lazy. You are learning to be still so that something deeper can rise. And in this stillness, prayer takes a different form. It is no longer about performance or volume. It becomes presence. Prayer in this season may be quiet, wordless, slow. It may be tears. It may be silence. That is enough. Before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 65:24. God is not moved by noise, he is moved by truth. Speak honestly or sit silently. Either way, stay with him. Another key response is observation without judgment. Your body is communicating through energy, sensation, emotion, but it is not accusing. Not everything that feels strange is wrong. Not everything unfamiliar is dangerous. When you feel discomfort, ask what it's revealing, not how to suppress it. Many chosen ones struggle here. They see discomfort as failure. But the wise understand pressure reveals what peace will eventually replace. Do not panic. Pay attention. You must also protect your mental atmosphere. This means choosing what you allow into your awareness. Avoid content that breeds fear, voices that stir confusion, conversations that deplete your clarity. Not because you are avoiding life, but because your nervous system is rebuilding. Give it what helps it grow. In this season, God's instructions often come in nudges, not commands. A quiet prompting to cancel a plan, a sense that a room is not for you, a pull to wait instead of rush. These are not coincidences. These are micro-invitations into obedience. Don't explain them away, follow gently. And avoid the urge to over-explain your transformation to others. This is not a time for convincing, it is a time for protecting what is sacred. Not everyone can hold space for what's being birthed in you. And that's okay. Give less access. Guard the soil while the seed takes root. Physically, anchor yourself in the present. Small movements, walking slowly, breathing deeply, grounding your body in simplicity, become acts of trust. These are not just routines. They are spiritual responses. They signal to your body that it is safe and to your spirit that it is supported. Let go of the urge to rush. Transformation doesn't demand speed, it demands readiness. The fruit will come in season, not when you grasp for it, but when your roots are strong enough to hold it. Patience is not a delay tactic, it is part of the molding. In the quiet of this process, practice gratitude, not the forced kind, but the quiet kind, the kind that acknowledges even this moment has meaning. Gratitude trains the body to feel safe, and safety allows alignment to settle. Thankfulness rewires your posture from fear to faith. You may also notice that old coping habits no longer comfort you. What once numbed now irritates. This is intentional. God is retraining your body to seek peace from truth, not distraction. Do not reach for the old just because it's familiar. Familiarity is not the same as alignment. And respond with humility. Not shame or shrinking, but open-hearted acceptance that you will not understand everything right now. You are being shaped by mystery. Maturity is measured not by how much you know, but by how much peace you have while not knowing. Boundaries, too, become sacred now. Protect your time. Protect your energy. Your body cannot stabilize while being pulled in 10 directions. Say no without guilt. Guard your stillness like treasure. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. And when emotions rise, grief, joy, sadness, clarity, let them pass. You don't need to narrate them. You don't need to fix them. Emotions are like weather. They come, they move, they clear. Suppression delays the process. Acceptance speeds it. Keep to your simple rhythms. Eat, sleep, walk, drink water. These are not small things. They are stabilizing acts that ground you in the now, while heaven reshapes what comes next. Finally, trust without demanding signs. You don't need to constantly check if change is happening. It is, whether you see it or not. God's work in you is real, even when it is invisible. Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1-6. You are not called to manage your own transformation. You are called to respond with alignment. Let go of the urge to control. Let go of the urge to explain. Let go of the urge to accelerate. Respond with stillness, with trust, with quiet courage. And know this, the way you carry this season will shape the way you step into what comes next. Chosen one, now is the time to bring this sacred transformation into the ordinary, because true alignment isn't proven by what we say or even what we feel. It is revealed in how we live. Not in grand moments, but in quiet ones. In daily choices, repeated gently, in how we carry the presence of God through the hours that don't feel particularly spiritual at all. God never reshapes his vessels to remove them from life, but to teach them how to move differently within it. Holiness is not withdrawal from the world. It is wisdom within the world. The changes taking place in your body and spirit are not calling you into hiding, but into depth. And depth meets the divine in the everyday. So, how do you walk through the ordinary while carrying something extraordinary? Begin each day with stillness, not stimulation. Before the world begins to speak, before screens flicker or voices rise, give your body space to settle into quiet. Not long, just enough to listen. Sit, breathe. Whisper your awareness of God's nearness, even if all you can manage is stillness itself. You are training your system to respond to presence before pressure. In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly. Psalm 5-3. Let that waiting be wordless if needed. The peace begins there. Let your body lead with wisdom, not guilt. Your physical responses are not distractions, they are signals. If your body longs for rest, that is not failure. If your spirit craves quiet, that is not laziness. The pace of grace is not hurried. To obey God in this season may look like moving slower, saying less, or doing what doesn't make sense to others. But productivity without presence leads to depletion. The path of the chosen one is sustained, not frantic. Simplify your environment internally and externally. As your sensitivity sharpens, chaos becomes unbearable. You're not being dramatic, you're becoming aware. Begin by removing the unnecessary, background noise, cluttered spaces, overcommitments. Simplicity is not aesthetic, it is stewardship. Stewardship of your senses, your focus, your peace. A quiet space allows a quiet spirit to expand. Practice responding rather than explaining. There will be moments where you feel the pressure to justify your boundaries, your silence, your change. But explanation is not your obligation. Alignment does not argue, it simply exists. Respond clearly, respond kindly, but know that your peace is not up for negotiation. Spiritual maturity often requires fewer words, not more. Let emotions pass without building stories around them. Waves of sadness, tenderness, or relief may rise without warning. Not every emotion demands interpretation. Some are simply being released, echoes of old seasons leaving your body. Say gently to yourself, "This is moving through me." No resistance, no judgment, just release. You keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you. Isaiah 26:3. This peace is built not on control, but on cooperation with what is. Care for your body with quiet intention. Eat when you can, even if appetite is strange. Move gently, stretch, walk, breathe with focus, rest without apology. These are not self-care trends. These are spiritual disciplines. The body must feel safe to allow the spirit to lead. And safety is built in small, quiet routines, not intensity. Guard your sacred process. Not everyone needs to know what God is doing in you. In fact, the deeper the work, the more sacred the silence. Oversharing can scatter your focus and invite misunderstanding. Privacy is protection, not secrecy. The Father who formed you in secret continues his shaping work there. He will hide me in his shelter in the day of trouble. Psalm 27:5. Obey the gentle nudges. In this season, the Spirit may speak in impressions more than instructions. A soft pull to cancel a plan, a sense that silence is better than conversation, a pause in your step. Follow these without needing full explanation. Trust builds between your spirit and your body when the vessel responds quickly. Anchor yourself in the now. Bring your awareness into what's in front of you, the rhythm of your steps, the water on your hands, the quiet of your breath. God is not just in your destiny, he is in your now. And anchoring in the present keeps you from chasing shadows of fear or mirages of control. End each day with acknowledgement, not analysis. You were not made to grade your days like exams. Instead of asking, was I productive enough? Ask, where did I notice God today? Was it in the pause, the peace, the restraint, the breath? Whisper, thank you for what you are shaping. That simple gratitude invites heaven to continue the work without interference. This is how alignment becomes reality, not through pressure, but through presence. Not through constant striving, but through consistent surrender. As you walk this way, you'll find that the inner shift you felt begins to show itself in subtle but powerful ways. Your boundaries hold, your words soften, your peace expands. And slowly, you realize you're not waiting for the change anymore. You are the change. And it is already unfolding through the way you live. Chosen one, listen closely. This part of your journey requires your full attention, not because you are in danger, but because it's time to release every trace of fear. The path you're walking now is not an exposed one. It is covered, watched over, protected with intention. Heaven does not initiate change in the life of the chosen without also building a shield around that change. This is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual law. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone. You are stepping into divine timing, fully accompanied by the one who leads with both wisdom and compassion. Protection may not always appear how the world defines it. It may not look like rescue or intervention. More often, it looks like prevention, the danger that never reached you, the conversation that never happened, the relationship that quietly dissolved. You may not even be aware of how many times heaven stepped in silently, but the absence of harm is not emptiness, it is evidence. As your spirit sharpens and your body aligns, this awareness increases. You begin to sense what is off before you can explain it. Doors you once would have walked through without hesitation now feel heavy. Opportunities that once looked promising now stir unrest. This isn't suspicion, it's discernment, tuned by the Holy Spirit. Just as the angel warned Joseph in a dream to take Mary and flee with the infant Jesus to Egypt, Matthew 2:13, divine protection often works quietly. It redirects, shields, and removes, not with spectacle, but with precision. Sometimes that protection looks like distance, a quiet pulling away from places or people you once thought were permanent. But what feels like isolation is often insulation. God isn't removing you because you are unworthy. He's containing what is being refined. When the body becomes more spiritually sensitive, it can no longer remain in polluted places. Not because you are better than others, but because you are being preserved for something holy. This is the nature of divine protection. It does not promise a life without difficulty. It promises you will be equipped. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. Isaiah 43:2. God never said the waters wouldn't rise. He said they wouldn't take you under. Understand this. The changes occurring in you are not signs of exposure, they are signs of reinforcement. Just as a ship must be reinforced before it sails into deep waters, or a structure strengthened before it rises higher, your inner foundation is being solidified so it can carry weight without collapse. You are also protected through timing. God reveals only what you're ready to carry. Insight arrives not when you demand it, but when it's safe for you to hold it. Silence in certain seasons is not rejection, it is mercy. God spares you from pressure not suited for your current capacity. Another layer of protection comes through emotional regulation. While others may be overwhelmed by panic, you are being trained to remain steady, not numb, not indifferent, but calm, grounded, present. This internal stability is spiritual authority in motion. You are learning to respond instead of react, and your stillness in chaos becomes a shield. You're also guarded through limited access. Fewer people can read you now. Fewer voices influence you. This is not social disconnection, it is spiritual clarity. When fewer opinions enter, obedience sharpens. When fewer demands press in, your inner world becomes sacred ground. Even provision is part of the promise. It may not arrive in abundance, but it arrives on time. Just as manna came daily in the wilderness, enough for the day, no more, no less, your needs will be met without manipulation. This trains you to rely on trust, not hustle. Desperation fades when you realize that heaven is never late. And yes, part of your protection includes correction. You feel the tug of misalignment quickly. You notice discomfort earlier than before. That sensitivity is not punishment, it is mercy. God pulls you back swiftly because he cannot afford to let his chosen drift far. The call on your life is too important. Longevity is part of your preparation. You are not being shaped for a moment, but for seasons, perhaps even generations. God is building endurance into your bones. So, when others collapse under pressure, you remain. And if you feel hidden right now, even overlooked, misunderstood, consider this. Sometimes God hides what he values most. You are not being rejected, you are being shielded. Exposure too early invites pressure you are not meant to carry. So he closes doors, not to deny you, but to prepare you to open them with authority later. Clarity will come when it matters most. You may not feel certain day to day, but when the moment of decision arrives, you will know. Heaven does not allow its messengers to miss their moment. The next step will appear when it's time to take it. Until then, trust the quiet. There is also protection in internal harmony. As your body, awareness, and spirit move into unity, the war within you ends. You're no longer torn between self-sabotage and purpose. Your focus sharpens. Your strength consolidates. Most people aren't defeated by the world, they're defeated by their inner division. But God is closing that gap in you. And finally, there is the promise of authority. Not the loud kind, not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that walks into a room and shifts the atmosphere without saying a word. It's not about being impressive, it's about being anchored. God will guide you not always through lightning bolts or burning bushes, but through subtle shifts. A closed door, a delayed meeting, a sudden peace or discomfort. You may not understand in the moment, but you will recognize the pattern. He was protecting me all along. Whatever is being removed will be replaced with something built to support your future. God doesn't strip without purpose. Loss now makes room for stability later. So let this truth settle deep within you. The changes you feel are not signs of weakness. They are signs of precision, and precision is always protected. You are not walking into exposure. You are walking into establishment. You are not being broken down. You are being anchored. And when the time comes for what has been forming in the quiet to be revealed in full, you will not tremble. You will not rush. You will not explain. You will stand. Not because you forced your way there, but because you were prepared. This is the promise. And this quiet surrounding, this hidden wisdom, this shielded clarity, this is the protection. And now, chosen one, as this message settles into your spirit, let it not remain just words you've heard, but truth you carry. You have not wandered here by accident. Every shift, every release, every moment of quiet has been part of a holy preparation. You are being rooted in strength that does not shake, drawn into stillness that speaks louder than noise, and refined for a purpose greater than appearance, louder than applause. This season is not asking you to strive, it's asking you to surrender. The alignment is already unfolding, not just in your thoughts, but in your breath, your boundaries, your presence. You are being made into someone who moves with the current of heaven while walking through the rhythms of earth. Let this be your confirmation. You are not behind, not overlooked, not disqualified. You are chosen, protected, and prepared. And when the moment comes to carry what has been growing in the unseen, you will not need to announce it. Your life will reveal it. Before we close, chosen one, take a moment to breathe. This is a sacred pause, a space where we don't just listen, but respond. Let this prayer be your agreement with what heaven is doing in you. You don't need to have perfect words, just a willing heart. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, in this still moment, we come before you, not with noise, but with reverence. We come not to perform, but to align. You are the maker of all things, the author of every shift, the one who sees beyond what we understand. And right now, we acknowledge your presence. We invite your wisdom to settle in us like deep roots, steady and unseen. We are not here by accident. You have drawn us to this place with purpose. Lord, thank you for the transformation already taking place within. Even when we can't explain it, we feel it, the soft unraveling of what no longer serves us, the quiet stirring towards something higher. Thank you for every moment of discomfort that revealed what needed to leave. Thank you for every moment of stillness that reminded us you are near. We surrender the need to control the process and choose, instead, to trust the potter's hand. You are refining us not for performance, but for presence, not for temporary impact, but for eternal purpose. So we ask now for your covering body, mind, and spirit. Protect what you are forming in us. Shield it from distortion, from fear, from interference. May your peace become the guard over our hearts and our nervous systems, so that what is being rebuilt inside us cannot be shaken by what surrounds us. We thank you for divine protection that does not always shout. The doors that quietly closed, the people who faded without conflict, the chaos that never reached us, we recognize it now as mercy. We bless you for the redirection we didn't understand at first. Teach us to recognize your hand even in silence. Teach us to trust your no as deeply as we trust your yes. Father, increase our discernment, sharpen our awareness so that we sense misalignment before it becomes damage. Let us feel your gentle nudges. Help us obey quickly even when we don't yet see the full picture. Let obedience become our rhythm and stillness become our posture. Remind us that your timing is protection, not delay. We let go of the urge to rush, to explain, to prove. In our bodies, Lord, bring rest. Where there is fatigue, renew. Where there is tension, release. Where fear has taken hold, replace it with the confidence that comes from being chosen. We speak peace over every system, peace over our thoughts, our breath, our appetite, our movement. We declare our bodies are not in the way of your work, they are vessels of it. And for those who feel hidden in this season, misunderstood or unseen, may they remember that you hide what you value. You do not prepare us in public, you prepare us in quiet. You fortify us in the secret place. May we never mistake silence for absence. May we never confuse delay for denial. What you are building is lasting. What you are shaping is sacred. We release the need for outside confirmation. We declare that your voice is enough. Your presence is enough. We choose to move with the whisper instead of waiting for the shout. Teach us to carry peace into every room, not through striving, but through stillness. Let our very presence become evidence of your work. God, we ask for stability not just situationally, but internally. Train us to remain grounded even when the ground shakes. Teach us to listen more than we speak, to rest more than we rush, to trust more than we grasp. Let every small obedience become a doorway into deeper wisdom. Let our boundaries hold. Let our spirit stay soft. Let our peace multiply. We thank you for provision that arrives exactly when it's needed, for clarity that comes right on time, for correction that protects our calling. We do not resist it, we welcome it. We thank you for removing what cannot go with us and for sending what will sustain us in what comes next. You are not just preparing us for a moment, but for a mission. Lord, seal this word in our hearts. Do not let it be stolen by fear or forgotten by distraction. Let it take root. Let it grow quietly. Let it bear fruit in ways only you can design. We will not shrink. We will not rush. We will not explain. We will stand, because we were prepared. And so, with open hands, with anchored hearts, we say, Amen. If this prayer spoke to something deep in your spirit, let it be known. Leave a comment below with the words, I receive this covering. Let it be your agreement with the shift already happening inside you. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to stay connected, because what's being built in you is only just beginning. Until next time, chosen one, stay grounded, stay faithful, stay ready.